looking for the sports channel, Gary.
You, GLY, you ain't got no alibi, you ugly, yeah, you ugly, bitch. You, GLY, you ain't got no alibi.
Welcome back, Royal Nation, to another installment of Raw View. We get a better insight of these king and queens behind the scene. I'm your host, Cheno Royal, baby. I'm here with, what's your name, sir?
Prince Onyx, and that's Onyx.
Mr. Prince Onyx, how you feeling today, man?
I'm feeling good. I'm maintaining. I mean, just keeping my head above water. I'm not drowning.
Okay, as long as you swimming, man. Sometimes we need floaties, but as long as you swimming, like I'll say you blessed for that. But like how was your day? Like anything like crazy happened today? Like just another normal day? Like what happened?
Honestly, it's just been another normal day today, but one second.
Oh yeah. Busy man. He probably got like Leonardo DiCaprio on the next line or something.
Okay, sorry about that.
Oh, that was Denzel Washington, wasn't it? I already knew it.
Listen, okay.
Yeah.
But it's been a normal day. Honestly, this past weekend was interesting. So I was out and about. I had just got back home from an evening out, and I was recognized for my appearance on, it's this dating show that's like, it's a viral sensation, if you will. So it's called Full of Love or Pop the Balloon. And I was on episode 3. That was back in, around like April. So March going into April-ish. And so basically people have been recognizing me here and there whenever I'm like out and about, and it will catch me off guard because when I did it, I was just really having fun. I didn't take it too serious, but I was also being myself. Like I was being my authentic self. I didn't have to put on like a front for the cameras. I didn't have to pretend to be anybody that I'm not. Like what you see is what you get. And people related to that. Like people really loved me being on there. And so like the exposure that I got from that has been, I guess you could say, humbling in a sense where it's just like, yo, like I'm glad to know that me being me touches so many people, because nowadays, a lot of people have like a borrowed personality. They're not really who they claim to be or who they pretend to be. And you only know that when you like get really close to them, if they even allow you that far into their lives and into their, their energy and their aura. So with me, I just am going to be myself regardless. I don't feel the need to fake the funk, as they say. So I don't feel the need to do that. And so being myself, like people recognize that, and it's just like, oh, hey. So yeah, that had happened recently.
Are like all the responses like the same, or like all of them like, oh my God, it's you, it's great.
You know what it is, like people will really be like, hey, that's you. Like either they'll be like staring at me from afar, we're like at a public setting, and then they'll like approach me because you get nervous when you see somebody who you saw on the screen, whether it's on YouTube or on TV or on a movie screen, whatever. You get nervous, but like they approach me, we have a conversation. They're thankful and excited to meet me. And I'm just like, oh my God, like we're just like having a camaraderie, if you will, because it's just like, hey, again, I'm going to be me regardless. I will never go out of my way to make somebody feel uncomfortable to approach me. It's like, I'm very approachable, and yeah, they love that. I love them. And so, yeah, so that happened recently, and the responses is usually the same.
Hey man, I'm happy for you, man. That's definitely well deserved. For real. But hey, I appreciate you for sliding on in. But for the fans back at home, they gotta know. They've been dying to know. They've been tearing down everything, trying to figure it out. But go ahead and elaborate on who Prince Onyx actually is.
Prince Onyx is, I'm an independent filmmaker. I am an author, published author, I should say. I am a poet. I dance. I write music. So I write raps. I write songs. I'm just an all-around Renaissance man. Like I do it all. Like there's nothing that I can't put my mind to that I don't do. I direct, I produce, I write, I act. I do it all. I've even done camera work myself. So I have some cinematography skills here and there need be. Like if we're down one camera person and there's a camera available, i.e. I bought my own.
Right.
It's like, let's get it going. Give me a few minutes to get the setup, and hey, let's get this thing going. So like I've done whatever necessary for my projects to ensure that they see the light of day. Like I'm forever a student of the craft. I'm always willing to learn something new. I am self-taught, and yeah, so that's the roundabout when it comes to me.
Okay. Well, let's take a time machine real quick to help peel back some of the layers. Let's go add all that music in effect. But where did all this start? Like, have you always just had like this keen sense for just like artistry? Have you always just been like that active, that social? Like where did all this stuff start?
I was a very imaginative kid growing up. Like, it's funny because, like, okay, so I used to like do my hands like this and would like look through it with one eye to symbolize a camera. And so like I always used to do that, like to just like symbolize me recording. And so like I was always an imaginative kid growing up. And then it was in the fifth grade, I knew what I wanted to do, which was to write stories. But I also wanted to make these stories come to life. And so from fifth grade, just going through the rest of my educational career, I was just writing and writing and writing. What I now know years later, of course, was fan fiction, because I started writing like stuff about Mortal Kombat. There's this other show called Code Lyoko. I even wrote like X-Men scripts because I love X-Men. So like I was just writing like these fan fictions of my favorite characters and stories and how I imagine them. And then around college is when I started writing original material. So yeah, I've been wanting to do this since I was 11. Yeah, since the fifth grade, like 11, 12. So I've been wanting to do this for a while.
Okay. What got you to hone your crafts in a little bit more when you got a little bit more, I don't want to say like more serious, but like maybe like helped you like put the blinders on so you can like focus a little bit more and like better the craft? Like,
I would just say when I did my first film, when I did Confusion back in 2015, like when I did that, it just made me want to like really do better with my craft and really take it like, yeah, take it serious. Not that I wasn't taking it serious prior, but like I really got up and made something out of nothing. I saw a void in one of the genres that I love, which is horror. And I was like, you know what? I want to see more melanin. I want to see more melanin in the supernatural horror, mystery, suspense, thriller space. And I just came up with Confusion and I went for it. And I've still been going strong with that. Next year will make it 10 years that I've still been working hard on that project. I have other scripts that I have written as well, but Confusion is really a passion project for me. And so with that, it's like, that's my school, if you will. That's my university where I'm always learning something new about the craft, whether it is improvement on my writing skills, whether it is improvement as a director, improvements as a producer, improvements as an actor, because I also act in my productions as well. Well, in this production in particular. So yeah, it's just all about improving and how can I get better at what I am doing? Like, how can I grow within this field? And yeah, that's pretty much it.
did you two-parter. I know because I want to keep a hush, but I know there's stuff in the works. There's stuff in the works right now. But a question for that would be, what have you learned from Confusion that you are now putting into this new baby of yours?
Patience.
How so?
Patience in the sense of like, when you're chasing something, you really end up putting yourself in like a hamster wheel. You really attract what it is that you are manifesting and be in alignment to receive that. Going through numerous amounts of recastings, production setbacks, personal life setbacks, financial setbacks, and just being patient with myself. Being patient enough to know and trusting in God's plan at the end of the day, because it's all about that too, having a strong relationship with God, your ancestors, and your spirit guides, and allowing them to put you in alignment with where you're meant to be. That's one. I would say patience. Another is the perfection aspect, because as an artist, I mean, we're sensitive about what we do, but we also want it to be perfect, even though perfection in itself and of itself, perfection can be an illusion that we get caught up in. It's like a personal
Definitely.
a personal matrix of the mind, and so many of us get caught up in that it's just like, oh, it has to be perfect, it has to be perfect, it has to be perfect. You got to celebrate the imperfections as well,
Mhm.
because even in those imperfections there is some perfection in there. They may not be what you like or what you want, but it's like, yo, like those little things, they still count, and it may touch the audience different. You know what I'm saying? Even if you feel like, oh man, we were on set for so long and they just didn't understand, da 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 da. Well, that then questions, what are you doing as a director? Are you really building a relationship with your cast, or are these people who you're just seeing as like pieces on the chessboard to just move around and manipulate? Like, are you really seeing these people as people? Yes, they are acting, they are using their mind, body, soul, and spirit as a vessel to portray and bring these characters to life that you have written, but are you really helping them with understanding the story, therefore understanding their character and the role that their character plays in the greater story?
Right. I couldn't agree more, because when my personal depiction of just what perfection actually is like, I believe that we're all competitive. We all have egos. So I think the ego varies from person to person, male, female, it doesn't even matter. But I think that us breaking that down when it comes to that is like, let's say, like, take for instance myself. So like, I get caught up in like how I view myself, and so I might get on, Facebook, greatest mind killer, pride killer there is, and I might be so fascinated with like a picture that, a pic from a shoot that I did. I'll post that, but then I'll start swiping after that. I'll be like, yeah, man, finally posted that pic. Then as soon as I see somebody else, I'm like, man, but they posted a pic. But they posted a pic. Oh man, but they posted. Then you fall down this rabbit hole, and that's what traps us all. Is I think the comparison, from our pride. It's very easy from our pride to be very like nitpicked and like beaten down very easily, just off of just social media being a blessing and a curse. So, I think it's just, from what I could see from what you just said, is just like learning how to, cherish each thing that you can do, and not try to, my personal opinion, just not try to compare what you have, and just face your own demons rather than try to face other people every day. So, um, like I said, I couldn't agree with you more. But like, what's something that how you can mold that into just every day for you?
I would say, piggybacking off of what you had said about the comparisons, like, again, it's another matrix that you have to get yourself out of. Like, everybody's doing the same thing, right? But
Yeah.
what you stand out? Because yeah, there are other black filmmakers who, I would say, and this is just me, who I felt like once I had like started with Confusion, all of a sudden then I started to see more black horror and supernatural and fantasy and thriller. I started to see more people in this genre who looked like me, and I started to compare myself and feel like, oh, well, they're doing it too. Okay, yeah, they are, but I'm doing it better. Like, whatever you have to do, like, motivate yourself to be like, hey, yeah, they're doing this, and I'm doing it too, but I'm doing it this way. They're not doing what I'm doing. They may not understand it how I understand it. So just affirmations, daily affirmations, weekly affirmations, journaling, therapy, whatever it is that you need, prayer, whatever it is that you need in your day-to-day life to just keep you, laser focused. Again, you know what I'm saying? Tunnel vision. You do that as long as it is conducive and productive to your well-being and not harmful, and it's uplifting you. It's uplifting you when you find yourself in those like dark periods of uncertainty, when you feel like your confidence isn't there like it used to be, or your self-esteem has took a hit. You find ways to like essentially breathe life back into yourself.
Right.
So yeah, that's the best way I could put it. Yeah.
I think I think also, like, that's just life in general. It's just like, if you really want, like, if you give up too easy, then that means that you just don't want it, in my personal opinion. Like, you just aren't that hungry for it. And life is all about how hungry are you, because there's so many animals out here in the jungle. We all want to eat, and there's a lot of things that we all want to eat that is the same thing. Now, it's not about do you want to eat it, it's about how hungry are you to eat it. Because then I might be hungry enough to, I'm a kill all y'all, bro. It doesn't matter who come at me, bro. I'll kill anybody on the spot, bro. Bring whatever. Bring that ostrich right now. Bring that elephant right now. I'm a murder them, bro. Bring that lion right now, man. Nobody can take me down. King Kong ain't got nothing on me. But it's just like that. That's just how it is, you know. And like, as we go through life, obviously other people, like, everybody's gonna feel like, you know, they singled out, and that's the process of growing and whatnot. And, you know, I felt singled out. I'm pretty sure at one point you probably felt singled out. And, you know, we all got to do it for ourselves. Like you said, you're a jack of all trades. You know all these things. You do all these things. Like, you're more than just a producer or director. Like part of being a director in general is just knowing everything, and like realizing like the ins and outs of everything. So I can only imagine what you be doing. But I know from my end, like, from what I like, from putting this together and like having to reach out to everybody, and all the small things are the things that people overlook. And that's what I see value in. And that's what I could say that we need to see value in. What do you think?
I definitely agree, because again, whatever we step into, whether it's this format that you're doing, like you say, each time that you are in production with your show, you know, it's a learning lesson. It's a learning curve over and over again, till you get to the point where you feel like, okay, I got this on lock. So it's just a matter of, again, that patience. Like I said earlier, patience, but that was more so patience with others. But also, you got to have patience with yourself. We are our biggest critics, and you can also be your biggest motivator, your biggest cheerleader. And sometimes, if you're not careful, you can even be your biggest hater by way of sabotage. So you have to, again, it's checking in with yourself. When you feel yourself beating down on yourself, you got to find a way to curb that and stop it right then and there. Whether it's venting to a friend, whether it's talking with a parent, talking to your partner, you know, again, or therapy, talking with God, whatever it is that is at your vicinity, it's within your range, do it. And you'll be thankful that you did it, because, you know, as an artist, I'll say this, we are alchemists. We transmute and transform energy and turn it into something.
Right.
Like, again, when I made Confusion in 2015, I didn't know how I was necessarily going to do it per se. I didn't know how it was going to look. I just did it. And looking back, like, man, I'm proud of it. Like, it's, is it like my magna opus? Is it like the most perfect thing I ever did shoot and direct and produce and write? Not necessarily, but I did something that most people stop themselves from doing. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's like, you got to have that patience with yourself. So a part of self-love is really even giving yourself those heart-to-heart conversations of like, hey, like, let's not do that. Don't be down on yourself. Love yourself enough to know that, hey, whatever you're feeling in that moment, you're going to get through it. And yeah, as a director, yeah, I do have that know-it-all factor, but it's more so like, okay, I have this knowledge. How can I share this knowledge in order for the people who I'm working with to understand the vision as much as possible? They won't fully get it like how I do, but if I can bring them close enough to understanding it, then hey, we're all in alignment. We're all in alignment.
And definitely, like, when it comes down to like people, like we talked about growth being the main word, is just like, I think a main thing that people, especially if they're trying to be in the entertainment industry, is that they need to know when it's time to take a break. And a lot of this is literally, you're going to hit a brick wall at some point. And like, I've had to hit many brick walls and have several like close friends and individuals be like, look, maybe you should like take a vacation. Maybe you should go and like, you know, do something that you love outside of like making the content, making the music, doing photo shoots, because burnout is very real. Burnout is crazy real, and you may not believe it until like it'll hit you one day, and you'll have to look at yourself in the mirror, because you might go down a rabbit hole of, because my personal self, not a lot of people know, I've hit depressions before, because it's just like I'm comparing myself too much. I'm trying to keep up with something that isn't real, and I'm not doing this for myself. Like, I'm trying to compete with other people rather than competing with the main person that matters, which is yourself. And if you lose sight of that, then it's very easy for you to kind of get off the righteous path that you're trying to be on. So definitely something to learn, I would say, for anybody that's out there trying to do something in the entertainment industry is, yeah, patience, but then also knowing when it's time to like step back, reevaluate, get back on the path, get your mind right. Your mind's right. All right, let rubber meet road right now and take off again. And then that's how you keep going. So definitely something to think about. But what's have you been watching any movies lately?
Yeah, so recently I saw what was the last one? I saw Deadpool and Wolverine because
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I love X-Men, so it was great seeing them, do a send-off for the Fox properties and also bring these characters into the MCU finally. So
Right.
I look forward to seeing where everything goes, and even in like movies like that, they really those help to like re-energize and revigorate me, because again, when you're at those depressive bouts and you're feeling hopeless, you know what I'm saying, and you're in kind of like the 11th hour mindset, all it takes is something to just be like, okay, I know why I'm still doing this, something that reminds you of why you are still doing what you're doing, because like you said, burnout is real. I've been going through it on and off, and it's like, again, when you have to take a break, don't see it as the end, because a dream deferred is not a dream denied. A setback allows for a greater comeback, a triumphant return, if you will. So yeah, but Deadpool and Wolverine was the last film that I saw.
Hey, okay. Have you ever thought about like doing like any like superhero-esque style movies, like as a director even?
That's the fun part about Confusion. They are kind of like my superheroes. My take on heroes and villains, just from a supernatural perspective, because it's dealing with vampires, witches, warlocks, hoodoo and voodoo practitioners, things of that nature. So in a way, these are my heroes. So I am doing that just by way of Confusion.
Now you piqued my interest real quick. Okay, cause me being in this next movie that he got going on, now it's got me thinking, are you possibly making like your own like little universe like with these movies? Like, are you trying to tie these possibly together, or?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Yeah, literally the way that I have crafted Confusion is that it's my version of the MCU, just with the Confusion universe. Now, later down the line, if any other filmmakers who are doing the same thing I'm doing, if y'all want to do some crossovers, we could talk. But this is just its own type of universe for right now. But yeah, this is basically my version of the MCU. So everything is connected, from the films to the web series to the mini series. Like, the timeline is all cohesive, and that's the fun part of this project, because the title, it all pun intended, it confuses people, but when you follow along with the story, things start to make sense, from the dialogue, the character relations, the character interactions, like, scenes that'll make you go, okay, I might want to bookmark this for later. And then later on, you're like, oh crap, let me go back to the first film or the prequel or this movie, or let me go back to this episode. Like, everything is all connected. So yeah, it's its own cinematic universe.
Okay. I know we can't talk too much about, the future endeavors, but what's something that you are excited for when it comes to what is about to happen?
You know what? I'm excited for what the audience's reactions will be when they start to see things come up. I'm really excited for, yeah, I'm just excited to see how people react because it's been a minute because, when the pandemic hit, things had stopped. We had picked back up production, then life happened, but, things are coming back together. So I'm just excited to finally show the audience what I've been cooking up. So I'm just excited to show them what I've been cooking up, and to see their reactions. Like, yeah, I'm excited to just still be able to speak with the community, if you will, the horror community. I'm excited to still speak with them by way of my production.
And my last thing, cause number one, we're excited for you. Cause like I know I've been calm, but I've been trying to hold back all this energy from how excited we are for you. But do you believe like that there's something that is just missing still from the horror scene?
The main thing is,
Or do you think like all of it is like, here, let me frame it a little bit better. Like, do you believe that maybe like we've captured a majority of the horror scene already and people just keep rebooting that same sort of framing that is the horror
I
genre?
I do. And here, give me 1 second, please. Give me 1 second.
Oh yeah.
Oh, alrighty, I am back. Sorry about that. Had to tend to some business, but
Yeah, no, you're good.
yeah, I feel like the one of the things that's missing within the genre is the diversity, and that is what, like, when I made Confusion, I made it with the point of like, I want to diversify this genre. Like growing up, when you would see these films like Scream or Halloween or Friday the 13th with Jason, um,
Hmm.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Nightmare on Elm Street. Yes, there would be like, a little dabble of some diversity here or there, a little sprinkle. But I feel like, why can't we have basically what we have with Black Panther, the first one, and even the second one too? Like,
Yeah,
we have these, and now we're seeing more and more from Marvel, and even with the rebooted DC universe that James Gunn is working on, we're seeing more and more of, we're seeing the diversity. You know what I'm saying? Because this is stuff that people really want to see. So it's really the diversity, it's the stories that are being told, um, and just giving people a shot. You know what I'm saying? Giving people a chance. This industry, oftentimes you're gambling with each project. You don't know if it's going to be a hit or a miss. And so, it's like, allow the people to let you know if they like it or if they don't like it. Because I mean, if we can get all of these spin-offs from Game of Thrones, for example, and remind you, I love Game of Thrones. I just finished season 2 of House of the Dragon. Then they got another spinoff coming out. They just dropped the teaser for. It's like y'all have a lineup of all of these spinoffs from this one property that is huge and massive in storytelling. So it's just like, hey, let's diversify it with just giving other people a chance. I want to see more melanin. I want to see stories of quality,
right.
because quantity means nothing to me. You can have 50, 11 of the same stories and universes and all of this stuff, but if that quality is not there, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
again, Game of Thrones, for example, I love the original series. The House of Dragon, which is one of the prequel spinoffs, is pretty good. Again, they just finished season 2. They got season 3 in production. Then they got this other spinoff. I saw a bit of the teaser, but I'll like go back to it. But it's like, I'm like, okay, these are some interesting stories. I'm invested in this universe. I want to see how everything plays out. And so, yeah, it's just quality and melanin and just diverse stories. You know what I'm saying? Like something that just really makes people go, oh, okay, let me get into this.
I definitely agree. I think it's I think it's a two-parter. I think you definitely hit the nail on the head with the diversity stuff. I definitely do think that we need to mix it up and add more culture into it. I think that's why it's been one note, is because we've kind of seen every nook and cranny of one culture like within the horror genre. But I also believe that it means that I believe within each and every culture that there are social norms that kind of have prohibited people to progress in certain fields. So I believe that like within, and this might be a hot take, it might be a hot take. Okay. I believe in like the black culture, for instance, like even my wife, right? Uh, her and I bond off of like a bounty, a plethora of things. But one of those things was like metal music. So I came up from a black and white household, but you know, being raised, I was brought into like, you know, hip hop, but then also metal and like punk and like all these extra things that I was accepted in, but I was raised in the suburbs. She's raised in like more, you know, ghetto area, but like, you know, a little bit of the suburbs, but it was almost frowned upon to really be, you know, open to those type of things. And I think that is kind of synonymous with the black culture. Is like, it almost seems like, oh, you gotta like hip hop, you gotta like R&B, these are our things, what is wrong with you, these are us, this is us. And it's just like, not really, it doesn't really have to be like, you know, like being that open and being like, okay, well, you know, you can like metal, you can like punk music, you can like country music if you want to, I don't care. And it's just like, I think that's part the second part of that coin. You know, I think it's part diversity. I think it's also part that cultures need to accept or embrace the fact that they can do those things, like being in horror films and doing all those crazy things that maybe they want to be known for, like Black Panther. I think a lot more people got involved from our culture in Black Panther because, you know, notice how it was all hip hop oriented. It was Black Panther. You didn't hear no metal music or punk influence in there. It was all hip hop. It was all like, come on now. You had Kendrick Lamar. You had The Weeknd. Like, come on now. We didn't have one influence of like no metal, new metal, punk, country, nothing. It was just that. And I'm fine with that. But I'm just saying, being open to the fact that maybe there's other people that are doing other things. You know, maybe not all black people want to be in hip hop. Maybe black people also want to be in, you know, punk, have their own metal band or rock band or country singer or whatever they want to do. But I definitely do agree. I definitely do agree in an extent. But what do you think about that?
I mean, I totally agree, because here's the fun fact that a lot of people forget, that while yes, hip hop, rap, and R&B, it's us, right? But those other genres that you named, if people really, you know, lifted up the curtains, they would see that the real origins of punk and rock and metal and all of that stuff, country even. I mean, hello, Cowboy Carter, Beyonce, Act Two.
Right.
The origins are black. And there are black people who do rock music and do metal till this day. Are they as large as the other, more dominant society? Not necessarily, and it's unfortunate, but it may take a figure like Beyonce doing Renaissance and Cowboy Carter, and then when she gets to Act 3 to highlight these artists. You know what I'm saying? Like all the artists, for example, who were on Cowboy Carter, they've seen their streaming numbers go through the roof, all because of them being featured on this project. And now it's opened up so many doors for all of them. And there's more and more black country artists that people are discovering. And they're like, oh my God, I didn't know that they were here. But again, the origins of country music, blues, jazz, everything, it goes back to us. It's derived from us. Punk rock, all of it, golf, emo, dance, house. So yeah, I agree. It's like we, especially in our community, that is a difficult thing to, an obstacle to overcome, is the superstition of it. I've had people, when I explain the project to them, you know, they feel like because it is horror that it's scary. Like, and it's like, it's
not really,
quote unquote, but not like jump scare, if you would. Like, it's not like the Jigsaw films, you know what I mean?
Like more thriller.
Yeah, it's more like thriller, mystery, suspense. Like the horror aspect is that these are vampires. Yeah, you're going to see them feeding on people, but I try to like not let that be all that you see. You see how their lives interact with each other. You see how this universe is massive and all of that. And there is, granted, there is hip hop influence in there, but you're going to hear also other blends of different genres in there as well. So that way, while expanding and getting that exposure, we don't box ourselves in. And I feel like we have become so comfortable as a society and as a culture being put into a box that it's like, okay, who created this box and why are we so comfortable being in it? Like
Right.
when there's other things outside of this box that are just as good, and again, Black origins. So why are we just only in one space? Like why are we just we're comfortable in a confinement that it's just like we didn't do that to ourselves. We've allowed others to shun and push us into this. And it's like, oh, well, I might as well just stay here. You don't have to stay there. You don't have to stay somewhere where you don't want to.
We're free, baby. We're free, baby.
Okay, we're free to do whatever we want. So yeah, I feel that like we have to be willing to overcome these narratives that really don't hold any more weight in today's society. People are broadening their entertainment scope, you know, because you can't keep watching the same stuff over and over again. I mean, people do, but it'll show up in the conversation as far as like culture and arts. Like, okay, man, it's giving low vibrational, it's giving it's going nowhere. Versus those of us who are like-minded and like we can just like have conversations about art in a very deep philosophical way.
Yeah, of course, man. Hey, man. I want to say right now, I gotta take this time. I gotta take the time. It's definitely give flowers time. I gotta shout you out, Mr. Prince Onyx. I gotta say I appreciate you, man. I appreciate everything you do. Thank you for sliding, pulling up. I know you're busy, man. He was just talking to Denzel right there on the corner. He had to pause the interview because he's talking to Shia LaBeouf. He's talking to all these people. He who else does he got? Let me know who else he got down in the comments. Who you think he was talking to? Because we already know they're Grammy award winning artists. I already know. Oscars. Who? Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't even know, but I want to say I appreciate you. I know you're busy. I know you got a lot going on, but I appreciate you showing love and sliding on through and chopping it up with me. But before we get on out of here, I got one more question for you. A very important question. It's about the future. You know, that amazing. It's tomorrow. It's actually tomorrow. But where do you see all this stuff going in the next couple of years? What's the overall end game of Mr. Prince Onyx?
Well, the overall end game is to really make it to where me and my production company we're a household name and we are recognized. And just like, again, it's like you may see us at San Diego Comic-Con, you know what I'm saying? Like we may be in the hall, like the room next to Marvel type of vibe, you know what I'm saying? Like just being independent, but also getting that recognition and of course getting that money because but also able to invest in my craft more deeply and invest in my craft more deeply and to just really expand. That's all. Just expand. Like just expansion and growth. I see us there's this what is it? It's this streaming app called Shudder. It's basically like the horror Netflix. I see confusion on there.
Oh, of course.
I see us on there, a hub, if you will, where you can catch everything versus like having to go here, having to go there, it'll just be all right there. So I see us being on Shudder. I even see us being on Tubi. I see us being on whatever platform is in alignment with my vision. Whatever platform is like, hey, we believe in this. We want to invest in this. Where do we sign? How much? You know, we broker a deal. And it's like, hey, I'm there. So I see myself in this production, great heights, soaring.
I love it. I love it. I love it for you. I love it for the fans. I love it for the world, man. Keep doing what you're doing. But hey, I had to give my quick little take because I've been thinking about this for a while now. Okay, if y'all are a fan of Blade, Marvel Blade, or Underworld, or like stuff like that, you're gonna love anything that this guy does. Cause that's all I was thinking when I was going through the script, when I heard about Confusion and all this other stuff he got going on. Is like I could see him easily like you doing some stuff that is like Blade oriented, where it's literally just like people walking around like that. NYC, Chicago, it doesn't even matter. Like that's just the vibes that I get. Like it very Blade meets Underworld. That's how I see this stuff. But again, shout out to you, man. Appreciate you for sliding on through. All the love in the world. Go ahead, shout out any place we can find you, because we need to find you, sir.
Yeah, you guys can find me practically everywhere: YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, X, aka Twitter, Threads, Fanbase, all of these social media places. Prince Onyx, that's Onyx. I'm there. You guys can find me there. You will hear me talking about Confusion just about on all of those platforms, Instagram, all of that. And yeah, I even have a podcast as well, the Royal Hour podcast. Yeah, it's like I'm everywhere. I am everywhere where a platform can be created. So it's like when you guys see those links, I'm there. That's all me.
And for all y'all that want to know, it's going to be right down in the description right there, just in case you didn't know. That way you can, if you didn't hear the man the first time, it's down there for the second time. We ain't going to say it again, but that's Mr. Prince Onyx. It's a Cheno show. I appreciate you. Till next time, till the check-in, because that's going to come pretty soon, sooner than later. But till next time, stay royal out there.
Bring that shit back. Woo! Baby, it's your birthday. Baby girl, you caked up. Bet it on, you or die. Even with the sweats on and the makeup.